I'm going to tell you how to sell a painting that is worth at least $3,000. This is how you position it in the marketplace. Let me assume I don't know who you are if you're listening to this broadcast or this episode of this video, but I can tell you how to sell a work of art that I would say priced at $3,000. Now, to do this, I would like you to think strategically here. You have to think like a seasoned salesperson. You have to wear different coats today. For selling a painting of $3,000, I want you to be able to have $300 for marketing. $300. But the painting is going to be sold for $3,000, but you will be investing a sum of $300 towards its marketing. And this is a simple, there are more complicated ways to do it, and maybe more assured way of doing it and getting an exact result. But this piece of information I'm going to give you will deliver the result with a bit of fine-tuning. You can get exact result within a month. And this is how it goes. First of all, you must make sure that the artwork you're trying to sell is one of your best. I mean, you should choose the best work you have at the moment, the best one. If you haven't made one, then you have to create a very good piece of work, very good piece. Abstract art, I must tell you, sells better, but it doesn't matter. You have to be skilled enough to produce a good piece of work. This advice is not for figurative painters, I'm afraid. This is for artists that have a kind of mixed way of doing things, semi-abstract and stuff like that. Landscape is fine, but not figurative. Those are very difficult to sell, except you already have an audience that are difficult. People don't want to see pictures of other people on their walls. So abstract is better, but abstract is also difficult because to find a good piece of abstract work is not easy. A lot of people think they can paint abstract because it looks easy, but it's a very difficult genre of art to make. I think the mixed bag is slightly easier to market, but whatever you have is fine, but it must be good. It must measure at least 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters, or 1 meter by 1 meter, but they must be well made, well appointed, good frames. If they're canvas, they must be done professionally in good canvas, good ducts, not cheap stuff. Preferably good acrylic or oil paint, good quality oil paint. What I'm trying to say here is that the artwork must be of high quality. The work must be well appointed, well constructed, finished, dried, and ready to hang. If you turn the painting must be clean at the back. So all the fixings must be there. It must be beautifully set up for sale. No amateurship is allowed. It can't be, because somebody's going to have to hand you over that money, and they are going to scrutinize the product, and you don't want the product to let you down. So you must make sure that the artwork is well finished. Now let's assume you got that in the bag. You have the painting done. Now you have to pull out $300 from your pocket or your credit card or whatever, and keep it in mind. You might not necessarily spend all of it, but I want you to have it as a marketing budget, because the world needs things, but people must see it again on a higher level. It's not, you don't just see it in the street. You are selling high ticket articles, so the people who are going to see it will want to see things that are well displayed. So we are going to have to take out, for starters, an ad in LinkedIn, or preferably, let me just make it simple, on Google. We're going to put it on Google, you understand? So we're going to do a display ad on Google. If we don't do that, then you have to look for something like Tubola. That is one of these native ad platforms. There are quite a lot of the native ads or display ads on Google. And we wanted to show for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks worth of ads is what we are aiming for, and we're going to keep it cheap, not more than something like $5 a day, £5 a day. Dollar or pound doesn't matter, but you have to spend about £5 a day, and that will make it like 5 times 30 days will give you $150, and then the next month to another $150. So you're going to spend about $300 for 2 months of promotion, so to say. But I think we'll be able to sell it in a month, but you budget for 2 months. And you put it out there, and then there's, with good image for the artwork, obviously must be well shot, flat, and in detail. We also have to make a Facebook page for it. You have to make a Twitter page for it, or X page. You have to also have a TikTok page for it. All the social media are free, but that artwork must have its own page dedicated to it. And you have to post them on the same day, but you don't post every day. You post like one a day. So you need 30 images, or the single image posted 30 times with captions, different captions. In the captions, you will say something about the artwork. So you're not writing a lot about the artwork, you're just making captions about the artwork. So you need about another 30 captions. Altogether, 60 captions is what you plan for, but I hope you use about 30. So every day you post this on these platforms. They shouldn't take you much time, but you must do it at a set time every day for the next 30 days. And what the captions will have to have is like your name, the title of the work, the dimensions of the work, and what the work is about, short and to the point. And then after that, you have to find somebody, a friend of yours or whatever, to give you an interview. They ask you about the work, and then you talk to them about the artwork. After you have the interview, your friend will need to edit it and put in the keywords about the artwork. In other words, what the art means, why you did it, where you did it, what inspired you, and something like that. You need about, it should be about a 400 word to 600 word article about you and the work. This is going to go on Facebook. You make sure you post it, edit, post one every week of this interview. After that, you also need to post on X. You have to do tweets on it on X. And then you have to link it to the Facebook page. And then you have to create a free website for the artwork on wix.com, or you can use Google for it. But you need a free website for it, dedicated only to that artwork, nothing else. On it, it will have a description of the work, a short profile of yourself. If you have working drawings, you can have it there, but I prefer that it's just a singular image of the artwork. And then you have to put the price of the artwork. It must be prominent. Like I said, you're going to spend $300, so you now price the artwork at $3,300. That's what the artwork will have as the list price. You make sure it is showing on all large images of the work, and then you post it, and then you have to wait, because the waiting game. But each time you have to tweet about the work. Don't say anything beyond what you've already prepared. All you have to do twice a day, you take there'll be detailed image of the artwork. You make sure you tweet it at least 3 or 4 times a day, every day for the next 30 days. And make sure that everything is well set up before you post it. You have to have, like I said before, the dimensions, the material used, most importantly the title and your name. And the artwork has got to be signed in the front and at the back. And if you have any interesting notes about the artwork, my advice is to scribble it at the back of the canvas. People like to see details like that because it helps authenticate the artwork and also gives the owner or the potential buyer something to, think about when they have the artwork. They want to find it interesting. Also they want to be able to explain it to whoever wants to share that experience with them. They like to have stories about it. So if you have any short poetry or whatever you want to talk about, write it at the back of the artwork. Actually write it. Take a pen, pencil, whatever, write it. If you can't write it on a paper and paste it at the back of the work. You will not believe the conversion rate you get out of that. These are marketing tips you must apply. And after you do that, just wait. You have to be patient. You have to talk about the art also. If there's a local paper around you, you can go there and demand to see the art editor. Tell them about what you're going to do or what you're doing and how this artwork represents XYZ in the course of the events of life or whatever. Make up a story basically and stick with it. But you'll be surprised also that a lot of people do not approach these local papers that they don't think is worth something, but trust me, those things have a lot of conversion power, so you can go to any of the local papers and talk to the art editor, tell them about what you got before you go. Make sure you prepare your own press kit, how you want to be represented. Short, concise, precise information about the work. You must have it written up like a press release. So after you finish speaking to them with your telephone number, your mobile phone number, your email address stuck on it, put it on a kind of a file, send it to the editor, or after you finish speaking to him, make sure you give him a hard copy of it and also send them an email of it as a PDF. These things are necessary because people forget. If you don't give them all the information you need for them to use to promote you, they will not bother. They won't try to work on it. They can't be. These days people are quite lazy, so you have to hand them over everything. And the more you can edit it, the better. If you can make your press release be like a Twitter or X tweet or a short SMS, you are more than likely going to have that information used by the news media. The more edited and the more concise, the more they can squeeze it into a page or a space in their page. So bear that in mind. You don't need to write a lot. You have to put down the essential, the most essential thing about your artwork and about yourself is what you need. Other things you can talk about later, but when you're trying to break in and make a sale, the less talk, the better. But the talk must carry weight, it must carry power. That's what people are going to buy. So when you speak to the local paper or magazines or blog posts or whatever media you can get, make sure that you have edited your profile. As I'm repeating myself, make sure it is well edited and then give it to them. Then they won't have much to edit. They'll just copy and paste it. And that will represent the vision you have. If you give them a lot, they're going to cut out. In short, the likelihood of them publishing it is zero because of the way people behave, the way they think today. They want things done. They don't want to do anything. So make sure your press kit is as tight as ever. Now, once you do that, the rest you have to do is to chill. Once you set up everything, is to relax. Do not worry about the work after you've set up all this stuff. Just relax and wait. And then after a couple of days, I would say like 10 days, look upon it, think about what to change, what to improve, what to edit, get it together, and on the 10th day, rejig the whole setup again. And then after 10 days again, rejig it. If you don't make a sale, it's not actually that bad. But what is more likely going to happen is that you would have fine-tuned, you would have mastered the way to deal with the press, to deal with people's desire. And more than likely, some people are going to reach out to you, especially if the web page that you have built for the artwork is well optimized. In other words, it has a capture page where people can send you their email and you can respond to them. And one way to get people to send you their email is to make, with some of the money, if you still have any, make like 10 high quality color copies of the artwork that you have put on sale, the one that is selling for $3,300. Make color images of it. A3 sizes will be ideal. Make about 10 copies, and on the 10 copies, at the back of them, make sure that you also write the same things that you have written at the back of the big one that you're selling, and kind of get them ready for post. In other words, buy postage for them. And then in your website, just say 10 copies of the artwork that's being sold, that you're giving it away for free. All the people have to do is send their email to you, and you will send it to them free. And while it is not the original work, it's actually a good representation and I would say a limited edition of the actual thing. So people like to get things for free. So if the people who contact you and you send to them becomes your email list, those people are very important, because anybody who shows a sign of say, yeah, please send me a copy, if they have the money, are going to likely be your future buyers. So you have to keep those people in mind. You have to remind them later on that, yes, I've sent you your copy of your artwork. It will be arriving so and so date wherever you live in the world, and I hope you enjoy it. Meanwhile, if you want the original or more original, feel free to contact me. So you start building your list. These are some of the hard ways it takes to sell an artwork. It's a lengthy thing, but when it's successful, there's a lot of joy in it, because there's a lot of human interest involved. It's not just like selling any other item. There's something very connective about it. What I've said in the last couple of minutes are some of the interesting ways that artworks are sold. There are more details that I can talk about, but they are not necessary at this point. But if you've learned anything, or if you find this video interesting, although you're not seeing any artwork, you're just looking in the street, the camera, I'm walking through the street. If you find it interesting, then if you like, give the video a like, subscribe if you like, but most importantly, have a good day and continue to create your art. All you young guys out there and ladies who are painters and sculptors and all that, you have to continue working. It's not an easy stuff. It's a hard life, but the harder it is, the more interesting it gets. Without the hardship, there'll be no need to even be a painter. So all is good. Meanwhile, I end here and wish you a good day. Ciao.